Have you ever wondered about a figure whose journey defies the ordinary in a galaxy teeming with legendary characters and epic tales? Can you imagine a character whose tale captivates admirers around the universe, across generations and media? As we dive into the much anticipated Star Wars Ahsoka, prepare for an adventure unlike any other. The stars are aligning, and a new chapter in the saga is about to unfold. Even the most well-known characters in a Star Wars saga, with such a huge cast of famous characters, don't have a narrative exactly like Ahsoka Tano. Since Anakin Skywalker's Padawan was never been hinted at in the live-action films, it isn't difficult to believe that there was a time when fans felt the idea of an Ahsoka-led show was absurd. However, young Ahsoka won over the fandom's hearts gradually but surely, as she developed in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, from a haughty student to a gentle Jedi Knight. Many people thought her adventure would end when she left the Jedi Order to start a new life, but she continued to fight for justice in Star Wars Rebels, even coming face to face with her former master, now corrupted into the evil Darth Vader. Even though her fight with Vader was supposed to end her adventure, she escaped death and made her triumphant live-action debut in The Mandalorian. She later made a brief cameo in the Book of Boba Fett. The fan favorite will now get her own live-action series, continuing her journey now that she is a household name. 2.5 years after it was first announced, Ahsoka is almost here, and we finally get some long-awaited details about her first ever solo series. Please like and subscribe. Here's everything you need to know about Snip's next series adventure. Ahsoka will now officially debut August 22nd, 2023 on Disney+, a day ahead of its original release date. But there's still time to catch up on all these Star Wars programs if you haven't already. We especially recommend getting caught up on the animated series Star Wars Rebels, as Ahsoka will feature several of its characters including Sabine Wren, Hera Syndulla, Ezra Bridger, and the villainous Grand Admiral Thrawn in their live-action debuts. Thrawn, who serves as the main antagonist in the Ahsoka series, was one of the most vicious and formidable opponents the band of rebels had ever faced, pushing the group to their physical and mental limitations despite clashing with numerous Sith Lords and Inquisitors. With Thrawn and Jedi Ezra Bridger vanquishing into the void of space, the show's conclusion felt less like an ending and more like a cliffhanger. Because Ezra may still be alive if Thrawn is still alive, Ahsoka is not just a continuation of Tano's saga, but also a direct sequel to Star Wars Rebels. Rosario Dawson, who obtained her dream of playing Ahsoka after a viral fan movement, will portray the character once more. Though hopefully Ashley Eckstein, the original voice actor of Ahsoka's animated appearance, will at least make a cameo appearance.
Chancellor. Anakin. Good luck.
Dawson's enthusiastic reception from the fan community following her Mandalorian appearance indicates to Lucasfilm that she was the appropriate choice. Recall how we hinted at the possibility of some Clone Wars flashbacks earlier? The most compelling evidence in favor of it is the confirmed reappearance of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Ahsoka's old mentor and the man who would become Darth Vader. Given that Ahsoka takes place after Return of the Jedi, and since Anakin has long since passed away by this time, the most likely scenario in which we will see him is in a flashback from the Clone Wars, in which he and Ahsoka are fending off battle droids, or perhaps the fight between Vader and Tano will briefly resume. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian freedom fighter who previously had the legendary Darksaber, will be played by Natasha Liu Bordizzo from Netflix's Day Shift. The recent news confirms that Sabine will be training under Ahsoka as a Jedi Padawan. Young Jedi Ezra Bridger, currently absent in the Star Wars timeline, will be played by Iman Isfandi. Another of the primary characters from Star Wars Rebels, Hera Syndulla, a former Rebel pilot, will be portrayed by Mary Elizabeth Winstead. The series will also feature Chopper, Hera's dependable astromech droid. David Tennant, who previously provided the voice of the lightsaber-making robot Huyang in the Clone Wars, will reprise his role. The late Ray Stevenson of Thor fame will portray former Jedi Knight, now mercenary Balon Skull. Ivana Sakona from Pacific Rim Uprising will also appear as Shin Hatib, the character rumored to be Skull's Sith apprentice. Genevieve O'Reilly, who previously portrayed Mon Mothma in Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One: A Star Wars Story, and most recently on Andor, will reprise her role. After appearing in The Mandalorian, Diana Lee Inosanto will return as Morgan Elsbeth. Lars Mikkelsen, who previously portrayed the voice of Grand Admiral Thrawn in Rebels, also plays the famous role in the live-action adaptation. No Ahsoka conversation is complete without mentioning the character creator Dave Filoni.
Ahsoka is a character that Dave Filoni created and worked with George Lucas on in the Clone Wars.
Who has worked on virtually every Star Wars television production, both animated and live action.
Let's give Anakin Skywalker a Padawan. And I was like, Anakin doesn't have Padawan. And he just looked at me and said, Anakin has a Padawan. And that was basically it.
Before becoming the massive Star Wars force of nature that he is today, Filoni was an animated and storyboard artist originally from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. He worked on such shows as King of the Hill, Kim Possible, and Timo Supreme. After his work on Nickelodeon's first season episodes of the animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender were so well received, he got what he, in his own words, thought was a prank call from Lucasfilm.
This is the guys right around the corner, and they're just messing with me.
That call was the beginning of what would become a 10-plus year-long working relationship with Star Wars creator George Lucas, which spawned the now legendary character Ahsoka Tano. Filoni is leading the charge as showrunner and writer. This seems very apt given that Ahsoka was one of the first Star Wars characters that Filoni directly created for the Clone Wars, and that he also created Rebels. As if Filoni wasn't already doing enough, he is also directing 2 episodes, along with other returning directors from Star Wars projects, The Mandalorian and The Book of Boba Fett. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse director Peter Ramsey is also on board to direct. As with other Disney Plus Star Wars series, the show will once again be produced by Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy. Though Filoni has commented that he and Favreau have creative differences with Kennedy in the past, fans are excited to see where the creative duo takes the Ahsoka series, as well as Season 4 of The Mandalorian, without studio interference. After years of rumors of creative tension at Lucasfilm, Filoni broke his silence back in May, and had this to say when speaking in an interview to the community addressing The Mandalorian's 4th season. He stated, "We did have our creative differences with Season 3. It's just what happens and is quite common in the industry. Myself and John are really getting ready to do what we always wanted to do with Mando Season 4. I have nothing bad to say about Kathy as a person, but when it's involving her creative inputs into things, we just did not agree on certain directions. Kathy will no longer be with us on this one, and it's going to be all up to us to figure out where the story is going to go. I think the greatest thing about doing something on your own with no interference or creative struggles is that you really get to test your limits, to test how well of a writer or director you really are. And that's one of the big challenges, always. It's a challenge that we had with Ahsoka, too. So we are working on this and Ahsoka, which were projects all done by us with no issues in sight, which was refreshing. Are you excited about this as we are? Let us know in the comments." Rosario Dawson commended Filoni's work and expressed her desire to continue working with him to bring Ahsoka to life. Ahsoka is currently being touted as a miniseries, suggesting that it will be a 1-season project. Tano fans shouldn't give up hope yet, though, since numerous Disney Plus shows that had been announced as miniseries were then unexpectedly renewed for another season, with Marvel's Loki serving as a great example. For those who are curious how the show fits into the timeline of the movies, we know the Ahsoka series takes place somewhere between the events of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, that is, after the fall of the Empire and before the creation of the First Order. However, thanks to a certain sand-hating Jedi who has been confirmed to appear, fans left pining for flashbacks revealing Ahsoka's formative years in a live-action Clone Wars may be getting just that. Of course, the original animated series is the ideal place to start if you're unfamiliar with Ahsoka's tale. Well, that is all, folks. See you all soon. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Until next time.